Welcome back to the Broad Street Benchwarmers podcast. My name is Adam Dan. Michael Kormelos and Carter Watson are here with me. Ethan Lividitis, unfortunately, unable to join us. We had gotten a streak going, guys. We ruined it.
5 in a row.
It's over. It's ruined. It's all right.
It's the upload streak. The upload
streak is consistent. That's what matters. He is at the movies. We hope he is enjoying cinematic classic Wuthering Heights. Even though he says that's what he's watching. That's what he said. We know that's what he's watching. Mm-hmm. We know.
Are you sure though?
Yeah, we know. However, we are here in the wake of the NFL offseason, and what that means is it's basketball season. And we are
just too early to talk about any real baseball because some of the free agent dominoes haven't fallen yet.
It means it's basketball season. That's what it means. And so we're here to discuss a little NBA at the All-Star break. It's been a great season so far. I'm sure, if you're one of the 10 people who listens to the Adam Den Show or reads the blog, you've heard all about it. But it really has been a very exciting start to the season. I'm excited to see how it continues. So we're going to dive into some of our favorite teams going into the All-Star break, our favorite storylines, and just, bring a little basketball back to the Benchwarmers pod because it's been missing for a little bit. Yeah. No, stop. You know where you can find most of it if you're really looking for it. But wanted to start in Philadelphia.
Or if you want draft lottery reactions, we got you.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? They're there. They're certainly there. We'll start in Philadelphia. The 76ers coming into the All-Star break after quite the rough patch. They lose back-to-back to Portland and New York in blowout fashion. And not quite too encouraging to close out the break, but an encouraging start to the season so far for Philadelphia. And I just ask, how are we feeling so far as the state of the 76ers checking in?
Carter, you can go ahead first.
I mean, yeah, honestly, I am pretty confident. I feel good about where the team's headed. I think that the main thing for this team was you wanted a strong start to the year for Joel Embiid. You wanted encouragement that he was mostly still there. And I'd say that we've gotten that. He's not doing what he was doing in that stretch where he was averaging over 30 for, 3-4 year But he's giving you good minutes. He's putting up 27 and 8 on the season. 3-point percentage has been fine. He's sitting at 32%. And they've obviously still had to manage the injuries, but he's begun to really hit a groove in the past month or so. And I think that now it becomes a matter of, can you get him into April healthy, and will the pieces around him step up? In past years, I've been perhaps unfairly critical of Tyrese Maxey, at least some would say. But this year, there's not much to criticize about what Maxey's done. Obviously, he's having a great year. VJ Edgecombe's kind of, I don't want to say hit the wall because he's still been good, but he's not giving you like the 19-ish points per game he was starting the year with. All in all, I think the team's in an encouraging spot. I don't quite love the trade deadline for them, but I think that they're in a position where that Joel Embiid has more in the tank, and they can win a pretty wide open East where people have suggested Jason Tatum may come back for Boston. I'll believe it when I see it. And everybody else in the Eastern Conference feels more than beatable to me. There's no clear-cut, this is the best team or among the best teams. Last year, to me, it felt like Indiana was always a favorite, if not one of the favorites to win the East. And obviously, Indiana does not exist a season without Tyrese Halliburton. There's no team that I feel like is in that position where they don't have a few very glaring holes that you can easily exploit in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with what most of you said. I mean, it's been encouraging. I mean, I think anybody who's kind of just watched them knows that they're better than their record says. Maybe not like significantly better, but they're not. They're better than a 30-win team at this point in the season. I mean, Maxi's playing like an All NBA first team guy. He's been one of the best guards in the league. It's been beautiful to see. He's been awesome. I mean, this just watching the development from his rookie year when he would average 8 a game and his only skill set was running around. Eventually, they would get tired of guarding him, so you get an open layup to just being the all around great player he is today. Um, we'll hit it. We'll hit it in the head. Embiid has been, semi healthy, and it's been amazing to see, especially because he was really bad to start the year. It kind of looked like, oh my god, he sucks now. But I mean, he's not. Once that's Carson, he's not the dominant player he was, but he's been better than top 10 center in the league, which is a good compliment to Tyrese Maxey, which is crazy. If you told me 3 years ago we'd be talking about Embiid as the compliment to Maxey, I'd be somewhat shocked. But here we are. VJ's been good. I will use the term that he's hit the wall, but I think he's just finding more of his role with the team. It's increased now again since Paul George has been suspended. Kelly Oubre has been really good this year, especially coming off that injury. I mean, since he's come back from being injured, he's probably been the best form that he's looked. I want to say since he got to Philadelphia. And I mean, this is probably one of the better benches we've had in the Embiid era too. Quentin Grimes has been better as of late. The Dominic Barlow resurgence has been beautiful. Trent Watford's not bad. Drummond's fine when he needs to play. Justin Edwards, Adam Bona, Jabari Walker, all those guys just exist in the abyss and are fine 11, 12, 13 guys. I don't really know enough or know how to pronounce his name, but am I saying it right? Marjan
Beauchamp.
Beauchamp has looked good the 2 times he's gotten in the game. For us, the 2 games he's played, cool, nice, I guess. And the Paul George injury, not the injury, but the suspension can seem a little depressing, but I kind of feel like it's a blessing in disguise to have a guy who's been injured so much to have 45 days off and then play the last 10 games of the season and get back in a groove before the playoffs. Well, he's finally trying to chase that ring, and this probably is his best chance to go get it. So I think that's huge for the Sixers at least. So that's my take on it. I think they've been great. This is the most tuned in I've been to them since the Hawks year. So
yeah,
well,
I mean,
actually, no, I was dieharding the Harden year, so the first Harden year.
Yeah, you were. It's certainly been a lot more encouraging than I expected, as you guys have kind of pointed out. The Joel Embiid resurgence is not something I expected. The athleticism is still incredibly limited, but his ability just to, still be a 3-level scorer in the way that he has been, less so at the rim, but more with just his prolific mid-range shooting. It's been really incredible to watch, and I'm excited to see what they look like when he's healthy, right? The past 2 games that they have lost in such horrible blowout fashion have been games that him and Quentin Grimes have both missed, and I think it speaks to the importance of both of those guys as contributors to this team. They, were really lacking as a perimeter defense, just not having a lot of wing bodies to kind of put out there, and they were really lacking as a rebounding defense. Just with Mitchell Robinson on the boards, really crushing them without Embiid on the floor. Not that he didn't do that in the game before, but just lacking in size against that Knicks team. So I think both of those factors are going to be huge as the postseason rolls around. But I have a lot more optimism towards this team come postseason time, given how they've looked in being less reliant on Embiid to be 100% when they've needed it most. You've seen games in which Tyrese Maxey, given the step he's taken as a scorer, has been able to kind of step up. And I mean, VJ Edgecombe, like you said, for the slump that he's had, Paul George for the games that he's missed, those are guys who I think could be postseason contributors. I still view them as the 5th or 6th best team in the East, but come postseason time, I do believe that you throw them in a 7-game series with a Knicks team that they've gotten the better of at times, or say, then there's certainly an off chance that they can make something happen, which is better than it looked going into this season. So all in all, if we're just checking in at the All-Star break, I would say I'm optimistic. if we're looking at it in a small window, it's a little worrisome. But the expectation's not there for this year. The expectation is Maxey and Edgecombe down the road, and I think that's important to be aware of. So, yeah,
I think it would be fair to expect big results this year as well.
As
we've all
doubt
said that, because we've all agreed that they can win the East, we should expect.
No, well, I don't think they can win the East. No, I think they can win a playoff series. I don't think they can win the East.
Well, if you think they could beat the Knicks, then who exactly are you?
Cleveland, Detroit, Boston.
Damn Detroit, man.
Yeah. I'm terrified of Detroit.
Detroit's scary.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in a team with James Harden on it in the playoffs, and I just can't press past that with Cleveland. For me, with Boston, it's like a good team, but how confident are you in a group where Jaylen Brown is their number one? Because again, I'll believe Jason Tatum is coming back at some point this season. About 5 minutes after I'm watching Jason Tatum on the floor for the Boston Celtics.
Yeah,
and what is he when he comes back too?
That too.
This is like the equivalent.
He's 6'10" and rushing an Achilles injury. This
is like the equivalent of like Rodgers tried coming back in Week 16 that season after he tore his Achilles. Like this would not go well.
Well, I think the greater issue, right, is that we're considering these teams' flaws and not considering the Sixers' flaws in comparison to them. The Sixers' flaw is that their, second leading star is a guy who I have no faith is really ever going to be able to make it back-to-back playoff series fully in one piece. And as we've seen over the past two games, their prevailing success is largely dependent on that. So
But we've also seen times in this era where the second best star has come up. I mean, obviously it didn't end beautifully, but we don't even make it to Game 7 in Boston a couple of years ago with the team playing without Embiid. It was Harden put up 50 Game 1, and Maxey this year is better than Harden was that year, and there's a better supporting cast around Maxey than Harden had with no Embiid. So
I just can't buy the supporting cast part, and that really is the thing. And it's a weaker East too, as well, in that respective year, right? I mean, this Detroit team's the best defense in basketball. They have been dominant by all means. The Sixers played them without Embiid, and they lost by almost 40. The Detroit didn't have Cade Cunningham or Jalen Duren half their team for that game. And then this Cleveland team, I know, Carter, you say you don't trust James Harden, and I agree with that, but like Darius Garland was a shell of himself in these past couple of postseasons, and they've still fought. I mean, they took the Eastern Conference champions to 6 games. They fought a year ago against Boston. Like that's still a team that has it in them to be talent-wise ahead of the Sixers, and you saw that in the 2 games they played against them at home the other night, just with their ability to kind of match up wise with that double big lineup with Mobley and Allen, how they kind of, were so strong in the paint against them. So I think both of those teams I look at as a serious disadvantage. The only reason I say the Knicks is because they can force Karl Anthony Towns onto the floor and attack him in the way that they did in those last couple games. But even that, I mean, New York played Mitchell Robinson a lot the other night, and that made a difference. I think the Pistons have shown time and time again this season that they are, a team that's translatable to the postseason because of what they offer defensively, especially in comparison to the Sixers squad. But, they would have to make it to the second round to even get to that point. I think that's the thing we have to emphasize. And I don't see Joel Embiid making it 2 straight rounds.
I do. We're changing the tide.
I hope so. I hope so. No. Well, we can pivot a little bit and talk about Carter's Lakers, who are in a I'd say significantly different spot as far as expectations, but a similar spot as far as record. The Lakers currently sitting, I believe, at 6th in the Western Conference, 5th in the Western Conference. There you go. 6-4 in their last 10. Have been missing Luka Doncic for a little bit now, but got a win last night against the Dallas Mavericks, a little bit uplifting. Carter, let's get a pulse on the Los Angeles Lakers, and then we'll dive into a little discussion of them.
Yeah, I think this is a team that's just like they have been the last 2 years. They're walking into the inevitable early exit in the playoffs, and I think that the roster is a microcosm of what has happened in the Rob Pelinka era in order to build these contenders and build these strong teams and these playoff teams. It's not even, and this feels harsh to say about a team that has had so much, has had multiple different all NBA players over the last, 7-8 years now.
Yeah.
But it's really, there's no other way to go around it. It's in no thanks to the work of the front office. When you look at what's built on this team, you have LeBron James, who at the end of his free, once his contract expired in Cleveland, decided he wanted to make movies, came to Los Angeles, and he's been to Los Angeles since. You have Luka Doncic, who you acquired as a result of the most perplexing trade ever that you don't get offered in most universes. You don't get offered by most other GMs. And you luck into that situation. That trade is centered around Anthony Davis, who you only have because he wanted to play specifically in LA. And then you have, as your third option, you have Austin Reeves, who could have been drafted, but was a Lakers fan growing up and asked teams not to draft him so he could sign with the Los Angeles Lakers. Beyond that, you have a roster of bad players, and you have a roster of players where overwhelmingly there's minimal to say positive about any of them. Jake LaRavia is a fine forward. DeAndre Ayton can give you good minutes if he wants to play basketball, which is not a guarantee.
Not very often, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's doesn't look very good, and it looks like a reflection of the work that Rob Pelinka and the Lakers front office has done for the past few years.
Yeah, it feels like this team's just names. I mean, obviously LeBron James is good. He's not what he was, but he's still LeBron James. You have Luka. Austin Reeves is having the best year of his career when he's been on the court. That's just names. It's DeAndre Ayton. It's Roy Hachimura. It's Marcus Smart. It's Jackson Hayes. It's Jared Vanderbilt. It's guys. It's Drew Timme. It's guys you've heard of, guys you know exist, guys who were good at basketball. Not this year, but a while ago. It's kind of like what the Titans do. Like they just say, "Oh, you were good 5 years ago. Welcome." It's just been ugly. It's going to cost them another first round exit. I mean, yeah, you're just wasting like the LeBron and Luka years. So probably the last one. I mean, LeBron's going back to Cleveland, obviously. So I don't know. Like this is ugly.
Yeah, I mean, I think
we wasted Luka to Dallas for this.
I mean, yeah, the biggest thing really is the defense, and it's been such a struggle throughout this season. But I mean, it really is a microcosm of it. The last couple of games, you see San Antonio really just stomp all over them. Wemby had 40 in that game, and the rim protection of this team. They go out and they get DeAndre Ayton to try to be that guy, to try to be the main lead point of attack for them, and they have a bunch of wings in Rui Hachimura and Jared Vanderbilt, as you guys have mentioned, that they look to kind of aid in that, but they have looked largely absent over the course of the season, and teams have been able to get whatever looks in the paint that they want against this roster. So I think that's very discouraging as we get to postseason time. Haven't been much better as a perimeter defense as well because of the amount of paint touches teams get against them. It leads to a lot of threes, especially in the half court. So that is certainly not good. I think just because of the ceiling of their offense, I see a scenario in which, maybe they could win a first round series. We know what Luka Doncic can do in place postseason time. And when they've had the three together, right, which hasn't been very often, when they've had Reeves Luka and LeBron together, they've been a fine basketball team just because they've been able to put so much together offensively off of the backs of those three that it's been fine. But, this has been by far the worst season of LeBron James's career, and I don't know what postseason legs are going to look like. This is going to be a lot to put on Luka and Austin Reeves in a postseason series, and I don't know in this loaded Western Conference if that's going to be enough. So it's just troubling. He did do it once, and that's the encouraging part, right? I mean, there are so many teams across the Western Conference. Some of them we're going to talk about, I think, that are struggling in the moment. So, just having that dependability helps, but it's
the Lakers,
it's
they're
difficult.
going to have more mascot assaults than playoff series.
Go read the article on G Wiz, bro. Free my guy G Wiz. They're suing, dude.
They're suing?
Yeah, they're suing. Yep. Wiz of Oz blog. You'll get all the coverage. Don't worry. Free plug.
Jesus Christ. That's terrible.
I have a trivia question for you all.
Yes.
Can you guys name how many players on the Lakers roster are players that the Los Angeles Lakers drafted, not including undrafted free agents?
Wait, hold up. I think I know the answer.
Reeves.
Sure, I know the answer.
Not including free agents.
Not including free agents. Like that haven't touched free agency yet?
No, like players that were not undrafted free agents, like they use a draft selection.
Yeah. I know the answer.
What can I hear it?
It's two. It's Bronny and Connect, right?
It's you forgot Adutiero, but it's
Adutiero. Oh god.
It's
I forgot Adutiero. I was gonna say Kobe Buffkin, but Kobe Buffkin is on the Hawks.
It's 3 players and 3 players that don't really contribute. And
yeah.
The Lakers have decided that, and this could be due to a multitude of factors. It could be because LeBron doesn't really like playing with young players and has asked them not to spend as much time drafting. But you just realistically, you can't build a team off of just free agency and trades because teams don't really want to let their good players go in free agency or by trading them. And so it becomes tough. And in 2020, maybe you have enough cap room and you can get Avery Bradley and Danny Green and a bunch of other contributors into your roster. But then now you get to 2026 and you're looking for anybody to give you minutes. And Rui Hachimura is still on the roster and you sign Marcus Smart for the 2025-26 season, and it's bad process. So much of it is bad process, and that's been highlighted.
We know plenty about bad processes, man. Don't worry.
I mean, yeah, it's the clutch sports of it all, though, and it's tough to look at now, and it's tough to necessarily place blame, I think, as well, just because, we didn't know when LeBron James was going to retire when all of this started. Every year was buying into a championship window. But inevitably, they made the ultimate mistake, which is the Russell Westbrook trade and giving up kind of the last of their picks. And since then, it's kind of been a downward cycle of like, hey, how do we try to manufacture something out of this? It's really crazy to imagine what this would look like without the Luka trade, right? Because you would be in some kind of zombie reality in which all the same Anthony Davis problems that other teams have been facing over the last 2 years, you're now facing. And LeBron is at this point in his career at that same point. I mean, honestly, I think he'd be retired simply because of the load that would have been placed on him a year ago would have just been, insurmountable. So it's difficult to look at from a front office perspective, but at the same time, right, they've flipped a new leaf, and this is the Luka Doncic squad, and we'll see how they try to buy into that window. But it's very oddly similar to the Philadelphia 76ers and the timeline they're on and moving on from Joel Embiid. Although LeBron James has certainly contributed more to the Los Angeles Lakers franchise as far as everything, then Joel Embiid has contributed to the Philadelphia 76ers franchise, which is why there's a lot of controversy around the moving on from LeBron in that way. They're on a different path. They're on the Luka Reeves path, and that's the future. That's what matters.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. So, with that in mind, All-Star break on looming, All-Star game on Sunday. Asked everybody to come, pick one team, pick one storyline that interests you, and we'll go a little round table before we close out. Who wants to start?
I'll start, and I'm going to apologize because this isn't exactly what I mentioned before we started talking, but I find it so interesting, the great tank race we have going, where there's more teams that are trying to lose games than there are teams who are going to be able to avoid the play-in.
Yeah.
Someone who has no intention of making the playoffs is going to be a game away from a first-round playoff series against the Thunder and or Pistons.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense because there's such a deep class this year.
It's such a deep class, but even with such a deep class, there's the top, and then there's not the top in a very brutal manner, just because of how heralded the top of this class is. It just looks so crazy. There's Sacramento, Washington, Indiana, Utah, Dallas, Memphis, Brooklyn, Chicago,
New Orleans,
probably Charlotte, all do not want to win. New Orleans, in theory, would want to win basketball games because they don't have their own draft pick, but it doesn't matter that they want to win games. They aren't capable of doing as such. There's the Clippers team. There's the Clippers team that's going to push, and then the Hawks team that's going to push, that are currently outside looking in. And they're going to push towards the playoffs in large because they don't have their draft pick. Other than that, I think one thing to follow really will be, does this second half of the season that we're going to get from almost half the league, or let's say almost a third of the league, the rosters we're going to see, the active roster we're going to see, as in not including those players who are shelled for injury, some of the starting lineups we're going to see, some of the players we're going to see playing 35, 40, 45 minutes into games. I think we may see serious reform regarding the NBA draft in some way. In terms of where I stand on that, I'm radical in the other direction. Honestly, I don't believe in draft lotteries, but
wow.
I agree.
I think we'll see some sort of major change in terms of the lottery odds, or we'll see those fines that Utah and I believe it was Indiana just got. We may see those buffed up or nerfed in some way. But I think we'll see some major change. And I think this may be the last time we see the NBA draft as we know it, where the worst teams have significantly better odds at getting the best players in the draft.
I agree. The lottery's disgusting. And
no.
I'm so angry they put it in the NBA. No.
Go ahead.
I didn't have anything else to say. I thought you were done. I thought I was gonna move on to mine.
No, I am pro lottery. And I am pro lottery simply because I am of the belief that the ping pong ball thing is awesome and it's a lot of fun.
And go play bingo with the local old people home. I think there's a lot of old people at where I work that will gladly play bingo with you.
I think
around all day.
I think generally it has worked out somewhat fairly, right? It has.
Really?
Yes.
You think the team that traded Luka to the Lakers magically got the first pick?
I do. Yeah.
Bullshit.
I think that's one of the only examples in which it has truly been, a travesty in how the picks have been awarded. I think the greater issue, right, continues to be the weaponization of load management under this current CBA. And Carter kind of referenced it, but you're seeing teams like Utah and teams like Washington literally taking out their starting lineups late in these games. And that is, something that is caused by this current CBA, that's caused by, the desire to quote unquote tear apart super teams, but also refuse to allow teams to be able to build in any kind of natural sense by keeping their homegrown talent. We just saw a Denver Nuggets team that had all the talent in the world be torn apart in that same sense. And a couple of years, we're going to see, really this year, actually, with the trade of Garland, we're seeing this Cleveland team get torn apart because they're not going to be able to keep up salary-wise despite drafting, two of these quote unquote core four and developing one and, kind of bringing them together and just, the way that CJ McCollum and the NBA PA manage this, it has kind of led us down this road. So how do we fix it? I'm not totally sure.
Sucks at everything.
Well, I think how we fix it is the new CBA. I think that has to be the equation. There are two teams that are coming into this league potentially next year in Seattle and Las Vegas. That's where you have to. That's where you have to start considering. Again. Exactly.
Dude, it's so funny because those expansion teams are guaranteed playoff teams at this point. Like
what I think the well, I have two things to say, and then we can move on.
Yeah.
First, I want to say that my biggest gripe with the draft lottery conceptually is there's teams like Chicago and more recently Utah become the biggest issues in maybe just become like examples of how badly things can work out for you, where Chicago was building bad teams and they weren't getting better because they kept picking seventh specifically.
Yeah.
And I think more recently Utah has had poor strokes of luck. And so those teams have just sat in the lottery for multiple years now. Utah's been in the lottery ever since they tore down the Gobert and Mitchell group.
Yeah.
Chicago's been generally picking lottery for
ever
2 centuries now.
Since the 1 year of DeRozan, Levine, and Vucevic, right?
Yeah.
It's just
Sacramento's
another one where they just kind of get stuck.
Haven't had a good pick.
Well, the issue as well, I think, building on that is with the lottery and the cap space stuff. I mean, Sacramento is the perfect example. Sacramento has spent money to try to, I guess be competitive in some way under this current CBA, but they're now close to the first apron. They might not even have room for the number 1 overall pick if they get the number 1 overall pick. So it's just a continued kind of cycle of, we want to force these teams to be semi-competitive, but we can't force them to go all the way. And I don't know that that's healthy for anybody when you're kind of half-assing it in the way that the league has. I think that's a fair point.
And then the last thing I wanted to mention, when you talk about fixing it, which is certainly going to be one of the stories outside of potential expansion, if not the story outside of potential expansion this summer, people are going to float around a lot of ideas. What was the report that came out today, perhaps earlier this week?
I pray they don't do that. That was horrible. It was the backwards play-in tournament where the teams have to play each other to
the reverse
get the number 1 overall pick.
To go fight for your replacement players. It's there's going to be like a lot of suggested ideas. I'm certain some will mention just evening the lottery and giving the Thunder the same odds as the Jazz. And what I think that everyone is missing is there's no feasible way to fix it. The only way you can actually fix tanking is you remove the option, you remove what people are tanking for, meaning you discard the NBA draft. And in American sports, it's just not a feasible format. And that's honestly also something people will probably advocate for. There's going to be somebody out there who suggests that we should.
There was this morning. This morning, I saw there was an NBA beat writer who proposed that the NBA becomes like Europe, and they just come out of college and sign with organizations.
Yeah, that's
to which my response was
awful idea. There's no.
You would have a great Los Angeles Lakers team, Carter.
You'd have an awesome Los Angeles Lakers team, and you'd have an awesome New York Knicks team, and an awesome Boston Celtics team.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't think there's any way of fixing it. I think you've got to kind of just embrace the fact that it exists. It feels also like it's more of an issue in basketball than the other sports. This could be because of other factors. The MLB has all their weird rules about their lottery, to the point where if you spend money, you don't really get good picks anyway. The NFL is more of a sprint than a marathon, and so it's less ugly, if you will. But yeah, I don't think there's a way to solve the problem, if you will.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a bigger issue than the NBA or MLB because of the transcendence one player can have, right? I mean, we talk about the NFL, it's even started to get this way at points, right? Because of the transcendence that a specific quarterback can be. But I think in the NBA, because we're in an era of positionless basketball, they're all quarterbacks to some extent when you have a draft like this. You know, Cooper Flagg might have been the second or the third best prospect in this class. That's how good this draft is. So it's imperative that one of these teams is able to try to capitalize. And I mean, I'm in complete agreement. It is very difficult to try to fix, but I think the attempts to circumvent that have made this worse. And I think that's what we see with this new CBA. And that's my bigger issue. And it's created stuff like this where we have to have this conversation instead of talking about like the games, which is frustrating.
I mean, the league has to figure out a way to get Adam Silver out of there. I don't watch hockey, so like this statement probably doesn't make that much of an impact. It could be completely false, but he feels by far the worst commissioner in the four.
Isn't the baseball guy awful? You guys complain about the baseball guy.
I don't mind Manfred. I don't mind
He's
Manfred.
Actually
a lot of people don't like Manfred.
Okay.
I'm also not the biggest hockey guy, but go ahead.
The only thing I don't like about baseball is the pitch clock. I think the bigger bases and all the things to improve offense have been fine. And I feel that way too, just because the Phillies have such good pitchers that like anything you can do to make offense when you have Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, Jesus Luzardo, and Christopher Sanchez, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well, like the defense, the pitching's gonna be great anyway. It doesn't matter what the other team's offense does. Pitch clock annoys me, but I go to so many games and I just like to enjoy my time there. And I don't like it when it's rushed, but it is what it is. I get there early enough anyway where it doesn't matter. He's made a bunch of great rotations. My only true downside is with Audrey. And I think Goodell's been good recently.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
It started rough for Goodell, but I think he's been great.
I think Goodell does nothing, which is exactly what you kind of want.
People bitch too much about the international stuff. We play too many international games. Like, why? Who cares? I don't want to get up to watch 9:30 football. Then don't. I will.
Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy the sport. Like, it's like whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Adam Silver thing is, a lot of the uproar actually generally comes from stuff that he doesn't actually do, which I think is part of the issue. A lot of it is like, oh my God, the NBA is considering this. I'm so mad. And, there's not really that much reason to be mad. I think the the continued load management, the management of load management continues to be an issue. And that's my biggest thing. But even that, like, I think, like I said, the Players Association has done such a bad job of negotiating and standing for the common player in this situation. And so that I think is the biggest issue here at large.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have that much of a pulse on the NHL situation, but what I do know is that some hockey fan that stumbles upon this video will not like Michael very much for the mere suggestion that someone is worse at their job than Gary Bettman is. But yeah, I've always been critical of Silver. I think that he's got a weird obsession with trying to appeal to non-Americans in ways that don't make sense. And it's not in like a strength of game aspect, but like there's just some things that don't really need to be here. We don't need an NBA Cup. We don't need regular season games in France. And you already mentioned.
But that sounds like the Goodell thing. You know what I mean?
See, I also think we don't need NFL games outside of North America. And I recognize that it's for growing the game, but like the times get all messed up, and like sometimes if it's in like Europe and they're playing at 9:30, whatever, that's fine. A game in Australia is just a bad idea.
Yeah.
Their times don't match well with ours.
People are overblowing it though. The timeline's up where it's a 1:00 game for them and it's a Saturday or Sunday night game for us, and both teams have buys after. Like it's not like
It's supposed to be on
people are such
Wednesday.
people are
But I
such-
want-
this game. They're not no. That's just a stupid rumor that somebody said that blew up because people got mad that was going to be the first game of the season.
Yeah,
There's nobody from the NFL has actually even like put out a statement saying they're considering putting this game the Wednesday.
Okay.
But if it is going to be a Wednesday game, it's going to be like in weeks like 14, 15, or 16 when like they're just throwing people everywhere, and or it's a week 13 game and both teams have the week 14 bye, or as I said, they'll just play on a Saturday night or a Sunday night on a week, college football week. Like there were a couple bad college weeks this year where I would have rather watched Rams 49ers than Tennessee versus Florida. No offense, Carter, but
I agree.
I'm never gonna say no to NFL on a random night of the week or a Friday night or even better, Thursday night football. Put it in like it's not that deep.
Doubleheader. Yeah.
Now, if they play at like 5 a.m. our time, then it's annoying. But like I think the NFL is just smarter than that.
I wish they'd stop taking over Christmas. It's my only thing.
Well, outside of this
Christmas
year,
for
Christmas
basketball.
football has been elite.
Not last year. I did
Well, I
not
said
watch a
outside
second of it, so I wouldn't know.
I said
The only
outside of
memory I
last
have
year,
of
it's been
Christmas
good.
football, like, is oh no, I have 3 games that I can like kind of piece together.
Yeah.
2 of them are Eagles games. One's the 2023
The
Eagles
Giants game?
that almost made me jump through the TV.
Yeah. But that was not like a good football game. I remember that.
It was
'cause
not
I'm
a good
an
football
Eagles
game
fan,
at
but
all.
If I was not an Eagles fan, I don't think I'd remember that in any way.
There's 2 that I remember specifically because I'm an Eagles fan. There's the 2014, and this might have been Christmas Eve, and I also don't remember if it was 2014 or not. I think it was 2014. Eagles against the football team formerly known as the Redskins. This might have been Christmas Eve. It was somewhere around Christmas. I just remember being irritated watching it. Kirk Cousins had maybe 2,000 yards.
I don't remember that one.
And then I remembered Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, that's legendary.
Yeah.
And I also still don't remember for certain if that was Christmas Day or Christmas Eve.
I
The
think that
Camaro
was
one?
Christmas Eve. Yeah.
Camaro was Christmas Day
Are you sure?
because the cleats was.
Oh, yeah, the green cleats. Yeah.
I mean, he could have
I
worn
pieced
green
together,
cleats on
but I
Christmas
like-
Eve, couldn't he?
Yeah.
No, I'm 100% certain it was on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I'm different because I think I like football the most in this group, and I enjoy football the most in this group. Like I can piece together Christmas games from most years. I think if I thought hard enough about it, and I would rather watch football than bad football than mediocre basketball. So
Personally, I want college basketball on Christmas Day, so I'm the weird one that's watching college basketball on
The
Thanksgiving.
tournaments. Yeah.
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 well, I watch college basketball on the commercials on Thanksgiving, or if it's a bad Thanksgiving game.
Fair.
Yeah, no, I'm getting yelled at because I snuck to the TV to turn on St. Mary's.
No. Awesome. Michael, you got to take?
All right, well, I'm going out
Wrap
of left
up.
field.
Yeah.
Going out of left field.
Yeah.
Hornets make it to the real playoffs.
I like
They've
that.
been I've been watching the Hornets.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't watch much basketball. I watch the Sixers and I watch the Hornets. I love LaMelo
Yeah.
Ball.
Yeah.
LaMelo Ball is a core piece of my childhood.
Aw.
That Chino Hills team just is. And LaMelo Ball has been playing, I think, the best basketball of his career this year because he's taken less of the Green FN role and more of the, I'm just going to play T basketball role.
Yeah.
Brandon Miller.
To an extent.
Brandon Miller's really killing him on the court. Obviously, Concanepo has been, the best rookie in the league up until maybe now. Cooper Flag has finally taken over.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, they're just really good. I enjoy watching them. Brandon Miller's really killing it.
They're so much fun. I love them too. I would not pick them to make the real playoff. I think those 6 teams that are in are most definitely better than. And I would be scared because I think the team
they're
that
going to make it out of the play-in.
Oh, they're going to make it out of the play-in? Yeah, why not?
They're going to be like the 7th seed.
I'm with that. Okay, I'm with that. Yeah, I mean they've been the best offense in basketball over the last month if you look at the numbers. So
damn right they have been.
I'm all in on that. I mean, it's not even about LaMelo. It's about the pieces around him. Miller's been so great. Kneppel, like you said, I mean, has been able to take over as a through-level scorer for that offense at times. Moussa Diabate is a demon for a variety of reasons. Yeah, just everything surrounding them has been fantastic. I mean, even Miles Bridges, as horrible as he is having a good year. So I think they're...
He's really been hitting it well.
I don't think that's making it out the cutting room. All right. Yeah, I mean, I will close, I think, with a similarly somewhat off-schedule take. And I think I would like to kind of point to my biggest post-All-Star storyline as what is going to go on in Denver, because they have been a mess over the last 5 games. They have been on and off injured throughout the entirety of the season, and it's been hard to watch. And this is a team that we expected to be right in the picture with Oklahoma City. At this point, we were saying, oh my God, all their rotation players are playing so well in their own respective unit. When Jokic and Murray go back, they're going to be unstoppable. And they have not been. It really hasn't been that
up the
way.
stat sheet, but
yeah,
don't look at the efficiency numbers.
No, it's been bad. So it's going to be interesting for me to watch and see. Aaron Gordon's probably going to be out for a significant portion of time now. Christian Brown is still going to miss some time. Can they put it together enough on the defensive end of the floor, which has been the greater issue? You look at nights like against the New York Knicks, against the Dallas Mavericks. That's where the struggles have happened. Can they be good enough as a perimeter defense to put things together, especially against an Oklahoma City team, which, even without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, has found itself from beyond as an offense? I think that's going to be a key storyline to watch as the rest of the season unfolds.
My short answer is no. They just won't figure it out on defense.
Yeah.
I think what they're dependent on is outscoring teams, and I think that there are teams they can outscore in the Western Conference.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got a chance of outscoring anybody when you have Nikola Jokic on your roster, because he'll generate so much for himself and for others.
Mm-hmm.
But I just never really bought all the way into this team. It feels like they're getting production from players. They were getting production from players that wasn't sustainable. I have no idea what was happening with the Peyton Watson thing. That was one of the most
He was
bizarre.
incredible.
Yeah, but like I don't think that'll last.
Yeah.
I don't think it's something you can depend on. And a more controversial thing, if you will, is I'm not sure how much I believe in what they're getting from Jamal Murray right now.
Really?
It's weird because he's always a playoff riser, and so
Yeah.
I guess that what we're seeing from him in this regular season is about what he'll give you in the playoffs anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, when you look at it, he's averaging 26, flirting with 8 assists, flirting with 50, 40, 90. I think that there may be a tail off at some point in the second half of the year. And my big issue is there's one team in the Western Conference that they can feasibly play because they're not catching up to San Antonio nor Oklahoma City. So they'll be in the third or fourth spot. And from there, the only team I'm like very confident they'll beat is the Los Angeles Lakers.
Really?
Yeah, unless I mean, yeah, I don't think that they'll draw a play-in team. I don't favor them in a series against Houston. I don't favor them against Minnesota. Maybe if it shakes out enough where they're playing like Phoenix, or I guess what? I don't think Golden State can climb that high. No. So like in a scenario where they're playing Phoenix, or by some miracle they pass the Spurs and then the Blazers get the playoff spot, then maybe I could see them winning against somebody that isn't the Lakers. But yeah, I'm not super bought in on that team. And it feels hard to say that because they were the other team that had a real shot at Oklahoma City aside from Indiana.
Yeah.
They felt like they were in real control of that series in a way that Indiana never really did. But yeah, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced.
Yeah. I somewhat see where you're coming from. I think it's hard for me just because of I think what I consider them to be in the preseason and what I think they've earned some pedigree, I do believe, from those rotation games, right? And especially against some West teams like Houston, who I think has really fallen off a cliff offensively. I think I would still favor them in a series like that. San Antonio, their youth, like this is still an offense that I think is the best in basketball simply because they're able to press so many buttons. And I push it back a little bit on the Murray thing just because I think for the first time in his career, he's been healthy, and that's really been all the difference. And so I think, having that going into the postseason for the first time in 3 years is going to be huge. And I mean, we'll see with Aaron Gordon, but the step that he took last postseason, if he can be that same player again going into this postseason, that makes them as dangerous as ever, especially with, what they've gotten from guys like Peyton Watson, like you said. Jalen Pickett has showed some improvement. Cam Johnson has barely touched the floor, but we know he can deliver come playoff time. We saw that in Phoenix a couple years ago. So I still would favor them as like the second best team in the West, but I think it really is a tough draw with Oklahoma City and how stacked they are. You have to have all the talent in the world to take them down, and I don't know. I think that's my biggest thing. But yeah. All right. So that's, I think, all we've got there, right? Anybody got any more basketball to add?
Nah.
Do we want to rapid fire midseason award predictions or?
Ooh, we can do that.
I could only give you MVP. I actually don't think I can give you MVP.
I can give you MVP. His name begins with an S and it ends with a GA.
I think he'll play more games.
Yeah, he will.
He can still.
Yeah, he can. He will.
I am going for another player who might not play enough games, but can. And I've touched on this earlier. The roster around him is exceptionally poor, but Luka Doncic has the Lakers with a fighting shot. With a fighting shot.
Kobe Watson, let's not do this.
No, hang on. Hear me out. Hear me out. It is not to take away from what SGA has done. It has been spectacular and all. To me, this boils down to best versus most valuable. And this argument, I guess, falls apart a bit more in recent weeks because the Thunder offense has looked pretty bad without SGA.
Mm-hmm. And the Thunder defense has looked pretty bad without SGA. I don't think that's been emphasized.
Yeah, but they've been missing like a lot of their defenders at times. They've had a weak rotation in general.
I just think, especially with the state of Jalen Williams in 2025 so far this year, like, I think this has to be Shea's award simply because he hasn't had. I mean, he's been the button they push offensively constantly. Chet hasn't taken the step up that we've looked for him to take. It's really been Shea and role players offensively. And for him to put that offense on his back the way he has, like, I don't think it can go to anybody else unless it's Jokic. And I don't think Jokic will have played enough.
I think by the end of the year, we'll be looking at the Lakers as like a 5 or a 6. And it'll be, I think by the end of the year, it'll be obvious. But for now, I'm going Luka.
I also think the other thing I push back on Luka, we all talked about, oh my God, the defense is going to get so better. He's going to be skinny Luka. He's going to be in shape this year. He's still probably one of the 3 worst defenders in basketball at this point.
You think so?
I do think so. I don't think he's got any better on that side.
Minimum 2 defenders worse on the Los Angeles Lakers.
Who would you say is worse on the Los Angeles Lakers?
Well, both rotational centers for one.
No, I think he's better than both. I mean, Jackson Hayes is pretty bad. Jackson Hayes is probably one of the 15 worst defenders in football. But
Hayden doesn't care
Hayden
enough
at
about
least
the game
gives
that's in
you
front of him.
Size and rebounding. Luka has become like a turnstile that you can't even hide on that end of the floor. It's incredibly frustrating, especially after we spent an off season.
You've also got there's no good defender on the team.
No,
perhaps Marcus Smart, but he hasn't actually been that good on defense.
Rui Hachimura is a good defender.
I mean, yeah, but he is, but he's also like unplayably bad offensively or getting there.
Yeah, getting there. Yeah. No, I can't do it. I can't reward it. Although Jokic has been pretty bad defensively this year too. But not to that level by any means. Do we want to do title? We can do title.
I'll go San Antonio.
Really?
San Antonio.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm gonna be boring. I'm gonna go with the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, that's my gut instinct, and I thought everybody else would say the Thunder, so I said San Antonio.
Yeah, that's fair. I think there's a fighting shot. I mean, it's certainly gonna be fun. Yeah. But yeah, all right. Who are we firing?
Daryl Morey.
That was quick.
I know.
Did we not fire Daryl Morey last week?
Yeah, and the week before, I think.